We are about to go live. Real estate show. And hello, South Florida. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Real Estate Show, the ATM edition, as it's fondly called around here, or as we refer to, About the Money. Thursdays is about the money. And that's what we're going to talk about today as we continue our conversation about iBuyers. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. We got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the money and where is the money. Remember, this is the Real Estate Show. Our goal here is to enable, empower, and educate real estate investors, you out there, how to deal with what's going on in the marketplace. Big changes, big adjustments. The iBuyers are certainly a big part of it. But remember, the Real Estate Show is about Main Street, your street, not about Wall Street. So far, so good, knock on wood. The Real Estate Show here is live 5 days a week, 5 p.m. in the evening, coming at you 5 different ways. That's right, 5 different ways to consume the Real Estate Channel. Get your daily dose of vitamin real estate. Starting out with our original station, 22 years here consecutively, where the Real Estate Show has been live on AM 1470 on Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN. You can find us there, 1470 on the AM dial. You can find us second on the FM dial, a couple of places on the FM dial, 95.3, 96.9, just to name a couple. That's on the FM channel. The third way is on the apps that you can download for free on your portable device, tablets, phones. Take me with you. Get your daily dose of vitamin real estate on the go. All you have to do is download one of the free apps, the TuneIn app, the radio.com app. TuneIn is a cool one. It's got a little reminder on there that reminds you. You can set an alarm so that it'll get your favorite shows. Of course, you want to set it for 5 p.m. Eastern time, 5 days a week for the Real Estate Show. And you do that by searching for WWNN 1470 Money Talk Radio and then lock it in there so that every day at 5 o'clock you're here. That's the third way. The fourth way, since the beginning, on our website at automaticlandlord.com. As soon as it was available, we started streaming this radio show simultaneously on the air. So we've got many years, believe it or not, under our belt that has been broadcast and recorded over there at automaticlandlord.com. So just go to automaticlandlord.com, go to the top of the page where it says The Real Estate Show. You can click on the drop down. If you're there at 5, you can hear it live. If you're not there at 5, you can still go to the archives. And there's another little rhyme there. My son Jordan's going to love that one. And you can listen to any one of the archives going back a number of years since we started recording it there. And if you want to, you can even download a podcast version and take it with you and listen to it offline. So where's the fifth one? The fifth one, of course, is our Facebook page. If you want to listen and watch and interact with us, then go to our Facebook Live page where you can say hello. You can send us a comment, a question, and that's kind of fun. So if you don't have Facebook, no worries. Just go to facebook.com/ altogether The Real Estate Show. If you do have a Facebook page, and it's really easy, just do it on your account. Search The Real Estate Show all together. If you capitalize the first letter of each word, it goes there faster. Don't ask me why. But there it is. 5 different ways to catch us 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. And if you want to get go on a little binge, besides the website, you can also hear a Sunday night. So there's a 6th day a week where starting at 9 p.m. you can listen to all of the week's shows back to back, start to finish, right there, wherever you're listening to us, same place, same time. So that's available. I think the only place it's not, because it's not live, it's not on our Facebook Live, but it is all the other ways you can hear it there. So that's the housekeeping there. One more piece of housekeeping. In fact, we might be joined by my friend and business partner, Don Martin. And we have a really cool announcement. As you know, 5 days a week or 4 days a week sometimes, we also do workshops. And so now we have put together, the programmers are just putting their final touches. I'm going to announce the website, but we now have the Real Estate Show Biz Connect. And as we mentioned, on Wednesday nights, we're actually going to have a meeting, a virtual live real meeting where real estate investors, landlords, entrepreneurs, the object here is business connections. And so we call it Biz Connect, and the Real Estate Show will have its own website where you'll be able to log on to the website, be able to come in to one of our meetings. You're going to find out when our workshops are. So I won't need to take up the time at the beginning of these radio shows to list out all the workshops that we do throughout the week, and in fact throughout the month. You can think about that, it's a lot of them. And you'll automatically from there be able to click in and then go into get the links to any one of the workshops, whether it's be about your credit, fixing it, building it. There's different workshops during the week, whether it be about equity, building equity, accelerating your equity building. We've got workshops about that, whether it be about landlording, investing, and we're going to be having our deal vault up there. And that's going to be where we're going to be able to list our properties that we have that are really good deals out there, which of course leads us to our conversation today. So don't forget, you can stay tuned, because that's we'll probably announce that in the beginning of the week, Monday, once we have the proper domain, all the connections are done and everything's good. So it's one more free resource here on the Real Estate Show for our South Florida and nationwide and our worldwide audience out there. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited and real proud of the work that is being done on that. I'll tell you, today I had such a stacked agenda, and I was in Broward County, I was in Palm Beach County, I was in so many different places. I didn't know how I was going to get everything done, and somehow magically everything fell into place, and I even made it back in time for the Real Estate Show, which I was also worried about at first. But so I want to talk today about the money, right? It's all about the money. Remember the movie quote, "Show me the money." And so I want to talk about the money when it comes to iBuyers. Now, every week we start the week off on Mondays talking about the agenda. We identified what the iBuyer was, what the I stands for. It's an institutional buyer. We're talking about deep pockets here, and we're talking about investors that have an almost bottomless pocketbook and almost insatiable appetite for real estate. And they've done very well with it, believe it or not, in spite of, yesterday I was talking about how some of these iBuyers are even spending money to buy market share. In other words, they're willing to lose money on the individual deals. And they spent, I forget what the statistic was, but they spent literally millions of dollars in 2019 to capture but 6% of the market. So here's one little statistic that you may want to know. That means that if they captured 6% of the market, now 6% of the national market, don't be mistaken, that's a lot of properties. They have been buying a lot of properties. And those investors that have been able to tap into the iBuyers have made some really good money. And part of our announcements next week, we're going to talk about some of the iBuyers that we have on staff. So if you've got good deals, bring it to us. We've got the iBuyer connections. And in fact, next week I'm going to announce even a iBuyer certification that exists. That yes, we have, and we're going to share that, which will basically give you the connection to be able to link in and present your offers to the iBuyer. So we're real happy about that. So 6% of the marketplace, and we talked yesterday in our midweek report. By the way, when I talk about what we talked about earlier in the week, remember, you can listen to that show in its entirety and get all of the details simply by going to our website at automaticlandlord.com. Clicking on the Real Estate Show, go to the archives, and then pick your day. They're in sort of a blog reverse chronological order. But you already know how our structure is. Mondays, it's always the agenda, the definition, the mission of the week, and what our theme is. Tuesdays, our tools, tips, and techniques. And we talked about how to work with the iBuyers, what they're looking for, what's their profile. And I'm going to add to that profile description in our conversation today in getting iBuyers to want your property. And then on Wednesday, we talk about the news. You know, what are iBuyers doing? What is the media saying about iBuyers, and where direction are iBuyers going? We talked about the public offering. Lots of great stuff. I mean, a ton of information really this week about iBuyers. So if you haven't heard about them, or you're one of those that thought that iBuyer was just another one of those we pay cash, instant buyer. No, it's a lot bigger than that. If you thought it was an internet buyer, well, it is that and more. So really the institutional buyer is all of those things: an internet buyer, an investor buyer, a instant buyer, but more importantly, and that's what makes them so interesting, is that they're an institutional buyer. It is all about the numbers, which means today's show, all about the money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsor. I'm going to talk about two specific styles, both the landlord iBuyer and the wholesaler iBuyer, what they're looking for, what they're avoiding, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek behind the scenes, how to figure out whether an iBuyer might be right for you. So you're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. This is our Thursday edition of The Real Estate Show. It's all about the money, and about the money. We'll be right back right after these words. Você poderia postar que a gente está live? Please do. Today, the radio show was kind of like a family project to make sure that everything would fall into place. We had our 8-year-old engineer and crew. We had makeup. We had we had stage. You wouldn't believe what a production this whole thing is. Leslie, Scuola Americana, having a great conversation. I was just in Rio a few months back and hanging out with Vera, Carla, Filipone, Tony Pires. I wonder if those names still ring a bell. And the cool thing is that the Real Estate Show is now having business and doing work in Rio, and just hoping and praying for the pandemic to recede a little bit so that we can make another trip back there. Mr. Schwarzkopf, the General, is on our Facebook. Good to see you. Staying healthy. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here, we were just on a little commercial break, but we are live here Monday through Friday here on The Real Estate Show. As I mentioned, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon, 5 different channels, our AM stations, several FM stations, the apps on your portable devices, the website, and our Facebook Live. And I was just talking during the break with some of our folks on the Facebook Live, and I know that not only do we have some folks that watch us during our live transmission, but actually quite a few more actually do it, on demand. When they get done work, they get the notice. And so I just want to remind you, don't forget to make sure that you like and follow the page. Share it so that more people can learn it. But if you go ahead and are one of the subscribers or the followers, then you get notified when the show goes live. And even if you can't see it live, it'll be a reminder that that you can come back and not miss anything. Hey, Felipe, Michael just joined us there also on the Facebook Live. And we've been talking today about the iBuyers. That's the institutional buyers. And today, like I said, I wanted to talk about the money. So I gave you the profile on Tuesday during our tools, tips, and techniques, and we were talking about what to look for, why it's an advantage to take a look at iBuyers. And a lot of times, buyers, or let me talk about sellers, which really is what iBuyers are looking for. They're looking for sellers. They're looking for motivated sellers that prefer convenience or special treatment, i.e., being able to sell your property without having to have showings, without having to do ads, without having to pay full real estate commissions. All of those reasons, is why iBuyers are an interesting option for a lot of sellers. It's a certain, once they make an offer and they've had the opportunity to put their boots on the ground on the property to make sure that the house is as represented, it's a done deal. It will close. It will close for all cash. There's no mortgage contingencies. Once they've seen it, there's not going to be any repairs, because whatever repairs, if any, that need to be made will be already now factored into the offer price. And the offer price, all very automated. I was looking at one of my little note cards that when I was talking earlier last month, happy April. This was during March when we were talking about the reasons why landlording is very interesting, and I was talking about because it's a scalable business, it's an automatable business, it's a replenishable business, and it's a location free, all the different things, and the automatic landlord. This is something that we teach our investors how and what to do to become a carefree, hassle-free, profitable landlord. And think about the iBuyers have jumped right on that bandwagon, and of course, with their immense resources, have automated this process. So it's basically almost a touch-free process as well. They will send out. Now, in our case, we have a relationship with some iBuyers, quite a few, as a matter of fact, now. And because of our certification as an iBuyer certified access point, we become the eyes and ears, the boots on the ground. So when we go take a look at a property, we photograph it, film it, and send all of these things per what the iBuyer requires. They're making their decision from the cloud somewhere else. And once they give us the green light, they're happy with the photos, they're happy with the property description report that we put together. Then it's a matter of setting the date, closing, wiring the money, and it's a done deal. And it's one of the best ways, one of our favorite ways of doing business. And so these iBuyers love. Okay, now remember, they have access to the MLS. So if you're going to bring me a property that's on the MLS, more than likely they're not going to be interested because they've already seen it. There's a good chance that they've already seen it. And if in today's day and age, if a property is still on the MLS more than 20 or 30 days, there's something wrong with it. Either it's one of two things. I always say that if a property doesn't go off the market in this market, in today's market, it either is overpriced. There's lots of people out there that are just throwing stuff up against the wall and saying, well, if they'll pay me my crazy price, then I'll sell. Otherwise, not interested. So it's either overpriced or it's not being marketed. It's just not out there for enough people to see it. It's not on the MLS. In fact, you've seen those, crooked, faded signs on the side of the road, and you wonder, who taught them marketing? But iBuyers love pocket listings. iBuyers love off-market listings, meaning that they're not on the MLS. They love expired listings because now we're going to have a new conversation about pricing and marketing. And properties that have long days on the market, many days on the market. So I'm just telling you what they like to see when you present it. You got to tell me something about the property. Now they are looking for obviously a discount off of the top market value. And it's interesting and important to understand that I'm talking about the top market value. See, a lot of people discount and think that these guys are lowball offers, but no, they're counting on the fact that many a times these are investors, they're buying it, so there's got to be a margin. You got to understand, this is a business. There's got to be a margin. So they're looking for a 20 to 30% discount, which is not unreasonable for the iBuyers that buy to fix and flip. There's got to be a little bit of a margin. So they're not going to offer you 50 cents on the dollar or 30 cents on the dollar like some of these folks out there that are just basically really throwing the proverbial stuff up against the wall. But they're looking for a predictable, right? Remember the homogeneous market conversation that we had on Tuesday? So they're looking for something, if you were to look at the top of the market, what are the best properties in that sizable, significant, homogeneous market? What are they selling for? And now let's look at 70 to 80% of the market. And sometimes they might even go a little bit higher if there's no repairs to be done. If there's more repairs, then look at the lower end of the range. But it all depends on, of course, the condition of the property. And if you don't want to go through the hassle of finding a decent plumber, handyman, repairman, contractor, making sure that they get it done, waiting for it to get done, and shelling that money out of your pocket, then this is a very interesting opportunity. Just discount it. If you were gonna pay it anyway, but now you don't have to warrant the work, you don't have to make sure the work even gets done, and you don't have to wait. So that's a big deal. Other things that the iBuyers don't want, before I get into some of the other numbers, they don't want houses near power lines. So if you're looking, if you go to take a picture of the house and there's power lines over and above it or in front of it or behind it, that's going to be a no-go. They don't like railroad tracks near the property, nor does anybody else. So no surprise there. They don't like properties on main roads. They don't like properties in bad locations, the proverbial war zones, if you will. So those are and also this is a surprise for a lot of people. They don't like properties that are surrounded by other new construction. Texas, big problem there, because there's so much new construction going on in Texas. It's not hard for you to be near a new development which can have an adverse impact on the properties. And if nothing else, it will suppress or hold the value down. You see that in more rural areas where there's new developments as well, all over the country. So think about that and understand if you're having a hard time marketing a property and it has one of those things, well, the iBuyers have been around that block before. And remember, they're buying stuff on the faith of their representatives. So there's two types of iBuyers. I want to just wrap it up here with this knowledge. I said that the iBuyers that are buying to sell, to buy, fix, and flip, they're looking between 70 and 80% of the top market value, also referred to as the after repaired value, and after repaired, if you've seen the work that some of these iBuyers do, these are not amateur rehab jobs. These are practically brand new homes once they come back on the market. So they're looking at top dollar because they know they're going to deliver top quality product. They want 70 to 80%, allowing for them to do the construction, do the repairs, and depending on the amount of repairs, well, it's going to be on the low end or the high end of that market. Now, I got better news for you. There's iBuyers that will pay more than 70 to 80%. I have iBuyers that will pay between 85 and 95% of the market value. That's right. They'll pay 95% of the market value if, here's the big if. There's always a big if, because remember, this is a business. If the property will cash flow. And so what they're looking at is something called the gross rent yield. Some of you might have heard something called the 1% rule. And that's the easiest way to figure it out, is that if the rent that property would command is 1% or greater, the monthly rent is 1% or greater than the divided when the rent is divided by the sales price, then it's a green light, just like my shirt. If it's not, move right on by. And that's so the gross rent yield is basically taking the monthly rent times 12 divided by the purchase price or the sales price. And if you get, depending on what they're looking for, 10 to 12% return, it's a green light. If it's not, it's not. It's the red light. Anyway, hopefully that was some real interesting insights. Very easy to understand and whether your property meets the criteria of the iBuyers now with those two formulas. We'll put those formulas up on our website at automaticlandlord.com. It'll be up there in about 24 to 48 hours. Check it out there. In the meantime, if you have any questions whatsoever, all you have to do is type in the word landlord, text it to 561-861-2366. That's the word landlord, 561-861-2366, or call us toll free, 888-595-7779, or visit us on our website at automaticlandlord.com. Well, that's it for today. This is your host, Eric Willner, signing off again. Until tomorrow, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, Brian. All right. See you tomorrow. All right. Through the marvels of modern technology, we're off the air. We are now ending our live stream on YouTube. Take care to our YouTube audience. And next,